Greetings, greetings, greetings. Good afternoon, good Friday Eve to you, one and all. Welcome to this edition of The Lunch Break, also known as the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, sponsored by the Saxenian family and powered by JM&E, streaming live on YouTube via the Houston Roundball Review channel, as well as Facebook, Twitch, FireTV, and of course, Roku via the BS3 network. Miss Wanda, how are you doing? Thank you as always for your support, your comments and questions. This is going to be a fun show. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Download the BS3 network on your Roku app. Come on. You can watch more of my shows here on demand via the BS3 app. Just download it. Go to Roku. Just download BS3 TV. If not, go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. The bottom of the hour, my colleague, friend, Rhossi Carron will join me to discuss the Battleground2k24 doubleheader taking place downtown H-Town on November 9th, the first week of college basketball season. Going to give an update on ticket sales and talk about the event, talk about his background. He and I go back to doing the lab work with John Lucas long time ago. But for the next 58 minutes or so, going to lead in with a teaser because roughly an hour and change after the conclusion of today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, sponsored by the Saxenian family, for Coug fans, go to the On3 YouTube channel. Why, you ask? Why? Corey, just ask me. There you right there. See? Corey knows. He knows. Why, you ask? Corey's hinting at it. Well, and let me do it this way and give the man some more love here. No shade regarding the Saxenian family, who've been loyal supporters of the Roundball Review. But live commitment, shooting guard Isiah Harwell, 2:05 Central Time at the On3 YouTube channel, will announce his commitment. His Final Four: Gonzaga, Cal, the Texas Longhorns, and the University of Houston Cougars men's basketball program. Count those stars, Corey. Count those stars, Miss Wanda. Count those stars, Rex. How many stars do you see there for that young man? How many? Not one, not two, not three, not four, but five. 5 stars. 5 stars. Isiah Harwell. His Final Four. Look at that Final Four. Salute to Cal and their staff for being part of this other 3, Gonzaga, Texas, and UH. But as of, let me see, how can I phrase this? Because y'all know, in this day and age, this business, and this is business, forget those handful of folks who are all, this is college athletics, it's not major business and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, whatever. Reality is, this is business. So anything can happen. But as of, it's 12:04 Central Time, as of 11:15 a.m., so about 45, 50 minutes ago, the word I received, nothing's changed. Nothing has changed, which means that Isiah Harwell is going to say he's committed to the University of Houston. That is the word. Like I said, anything can happen. He made his official visit to the Cougs August 23rd, roughly. However, he made an official visit to the Longhorns August 30th. So back in the day, if a player, student athlete, student asset, made a visit to one school and then had a follow visit, a last visit with another school, then folks thought, well, that final school was going to be the commitment. Does not seem to be the case regarding young Mr. Isiah Harwell. So 2:05 Central Time. For a while now, the quote unquote crystal balls have favored the Cougs as his choice. I think it was Cougs, then the Zags, then the Horns. But I'm old enough to know better. Until the person announces the commitment, heck, until the person signs the NIL, you know. But Isiah Harwell, as of an hour ago, all signs, it still looks good for the Cougs. I'm going to tune in to On3 and check it out, see what he says, and check out his announcement. I think it's just going to be on the On3 YouTube channel. It might stream as well on his Instagram, maybe On3's Instagram also. With technology, who knows, but definitely on the On3 YouTube channel. And then hopefully, based on Isiah's schedule and his dad and coaches and etc., at some point, I'll get a chance to speak with him. And obviously, this all is contingent on him choosing the Cougs. But once he does, assuming he announced his choice as the Cougs, I'll get a chance to interview him at some point within the next few days. So I'm not certain, because I don't know if he can do it today, Friday, Saturday, whatever, But just put that out there. So Coug fans, cross your fingers, cross your Cougar fingers, your Cougar paws, and your Cougar toes, that young Mr. Isiah Harwell, 5-star, the top shooting guard in the country with a class of 2025, announces his choice at 2:05 Central Time today, and that choice will be Coach Kelvin Sampson, his staff, and the Houston Cougars men's basketball program. Next question. Who's the next commitment date to watch for? That's a good question. I honestly see, I don't know. Because, and I don't, that part of commitment dates, things like that, salute to the people involved with Tipton Edits and On3, because they have established themselves, and they're young. I think it's two young men mainly who were doing all of this. Combined ages of them is probably my age, if not a little bit younger than me. But they've established relationships with these top players, and they have, arranged commitment dates, because these athletes are brands. So based on that, I say just, hey, whatever Tipton Edits and On3 sets up with the players, that's what we go with. That's what I knew about Isiah in his day, because his September 12th had been set in stone for like a month or so, at least a month, as his commitment date. And that hasn't changed. So now the only thing that changed was really the time. And now we know it's 2:05. So 2:05 today, Isiah Harwell will announce his choice. And as Rex 32 says, and as I say many times, Houston Cougars men's basketball program has come a long way. Indeed, come a long, long way. You never would have considered the Houston Cougars men's or women's basketball programs being relevant nationally 10 years ago. And the men's program getting official visits from top 10, top 15, top 50 players on a regular basis now. And Isiah Harwell, 6'5", 6'6". Some sites say 180, some say 200. So let's just say 190. Elite shooter. Not an elite athlete, but he can still jump, good rise on his jumper, strong, high basketball IQ, tough, wants to be coached hard. What does that sound like to you, Rex? CA, Miss Wanda, Corey? What kind of style of play does that sound like to you? So yes, barring something unforeseen, the Houston Cougars men's basketball program will receive good news just in a couple hours, less than 2 hours. Indeed, he sounds like a Coug to me. And I'll say this, he's a 5-star. So that also indicates he could be a one and done. I haven't really checked lately, but he might be in some NBA mock drafts after his freshman year. We shall see, but it's a nice problem to have. And assuming Isiah announces his choice to commit to the Cougs, I don't believe he'll be the last top 100 player to commit to the Cougs. I expanded my range there to give y'all some curveballs. Okay. So, yes. We shall see. Like I said, he's a 5-star. So, time will tell. Time will tell. But he likes to be coached, wants to be coached hard. I'll just leave it at that. Because hopefully when I talk to him, I'll let him give him the chance to go into more specifics about who he is, his style of play, if there's anybody in the league he patterns his game after. But I saw one thing before today's show. This site compared Isiah's shooting motion or shot style to Jamal Murray. Think about that. Jamal Murray, but a stronger version of Jamal Murray. Think about that. Wow. Oh, really, Corey? I hadn't heard that. That's interesting. I could find out that Duke has backed off Shelton. That's interesting. And that would be, I'd assume that's good news. Yeah, for sure. But it's interesting in a sense because for a while, I think Duke was Shelton's dream school, has been Shelton Henderson's dream school for a long time. But if Duke has changed their focus, that's not a bad thing, So, but Louisville trending upward. Louisville, hey, they have changed and try to restore their glory in men's hoops. So that's not a surprise, and they've opened up and accepted in NIL and all that. So, let's see here. How do I expect Coach Sampson to reconcile getting higher rated players with his desire for experience? Great question. I'm going to ask the fans, who everybody watching the show right now, because I posited this when Jarris Walker committed. What would fans say if UH men's basketball started signing more one and dones? Coach Sampson is always going to have veterans and a good mix of veterans. And he acknowledged that freshman year, Jarris's freshman year, team was just young. Team was really inexperienced. Didn't have enough veteran leaders on it. Most talented team probably so far in Coach Sampson's tenure. Prior to probably this team coming up, this 24-25 team. But it didn't have enough veterans, enough guys who've been through the battles and the grinds and could be coaches on the floor and just handle any issues in the locker room and keep it in the locker room and not worry about outside factors and all that. So we'll see. But what do y'all think about? I don't believe the Cougs will ever become like Kentucky did under Coach Cal. And 4 or 5, 1 and done. None of that. None of that. So 1 or 2, I think it's fine. And in this day of the portal, Coach Sampson just go to the portal. It won't be a problem going for talented players who are veterans who want to come to Houston. So that shouldn't be a problem either. And as Corey says, lack of experience will not be an issue for this season's team. A whole bunch of experience and a lot of talent as well. They're going for it. They are going for it this year to try to win Coach Sampson that chip. And obviously injuries play a factor in it, but they're going for it. There's a lot of talented teams on paper this season. UH, Alabama, UConn, Auburn, Kansas, Iowa State, Baylor, Arizona, like those Big 12 teams now too. But it's just another, go back to the comment moments ago, a testament to how far the program has come in 10 years. Okay, I'm going to shift gears and kind of speed things up here before Rhossi Carron joins me to talk about the Battleground 2K. At last, I'm jumping around before I go to my H-Town team updates. Let me see. At last, it's official, everybody. It's official. The Cougs announced it and posted it on their website, but it's official. The dates, opponents, time, networks for the Players Era Festival. Finally. Make your plans. Get your flights. Get your hotel reservations. Finally. The Cougs will face Alabama that Tuesday, November 26th, 7 o'clock Central. Game will be on TBS. Then Wednesday against Notre Dame, 11:30 p.m. Central. TBS. And then 2 off days, Thanksgiving Thursday and then Thanksgiving Friday, before facing Rutgers and their talented young team on the 30th, that Saturday, 2:30 p.m. on True TV. I'm going to toss a rock at the NCAA. Kudos to the folks at the Players Era Festival for getting this done and probably pointing out a few things to the NCAA, their hypocrisy. There is another event, I think, taking place in California, that is basically 2 or 3 MTEs combined. Schedule's posted. No issues with that one from the NCAA. One of the complaints, drawbacks, delays, causing delays for the Players Era Festival. Well, you can't have 2 MTEs. It's still really 1 MTE. It's not. But this other event has, I want to say, at least 2, if not 3 MTEs combined. 8 to 12 teams participating in it, and maybe even teams from the same conference participating in it with no issue. No problem proving that. But it took the NCAA until really this week to sign off on the Players Era Festival. And yes, the Cougs will be in the Impact part of the Impact tournament. So it'd be the Players Era Impact tournament. And the Aggies are in another quote unquote tournament for the Players Era. But that was the issue. That was the problem for the NCAA, but this other event wasn't a problem. So I don't know why is that? $1 million for each team? Is that the biggest reason? Because the folks involved, the organizers involved, are new, and you don't know who they are, or they haven't been around enough to kiss the ring of the NCAA. Oops, I said that out loud. Uh-oh. But anyway, 10 more minutes before Rhossi Carron joins to talk about the Battleground 2K24 matchups, doubleheader taking place downtown H-Town at Toyota Center. Coogs versus Auburn and Rice versus Florida State. I want to ask everyone before Rhossi joins. The Bayou Bucket is this Saturday between the Cougs and Rice Owls. 7 o'clock Central Time, TDECU Stadium. How many of y'all are going to the game? Apparently, Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark will be in attendance. I hope he sees a lot of people rather than people disguised as bleachers. Rex is going. Good. Tickets are available for as low as $7. But I say all this because Rex will be there. C37 will be there. I know Miss Wanda will be there. Folks, this is a matchup, a rivalry. Could be the last one for a few years between these two teams. One of the few college football rivalries featuring teams in the same city, featuring teams that are both Division I in the same city. These two teams are, depending on what map you want to use and what points of entry you want to use, are 3-point-something miles apart. I heard two different numbers mentioned at the Bayou Bucket luncheon earlier this week on Tuesday. One said, I think, 3.4 miles apart, and then somebody else said 4.2 miles apart. But I know this is a pro sports town. The Texans are playing on Sunday night. Rice and UH are playing Saturday. Be at the game. Support both teams. Support the Cougs. Heck, support one team, whatever. If you're a Coug alum, be at the game. If you're a Rice alum, be at the game. Both universities, administrators, alums, more UH alums than Rice alums, but a handful of Rice alums as well, wanted to be in bigger conferences. UH is now obviously in the Big 12, and Rice is in a bigger conference. Now they're in the American. Be at the games. Put your money where your mouth is. Be at the game. The Cougs are -5, according to the betting line. I'm kind of surprised at that. I'm not really sure what to think about it, though. The Cougs surprised a lot of folks with their defense and their effort and how they looked against Oklahoma last Saturday in Norman. They lost 16-12, trailed 14-12 late into the fourth quarter. Be at the game. Rice drubbed Texas Southern and overmatched Texas Southern. I think, what was it, 69-7, something like that. Be at this game Saturday. Support Houston Cougar football. Support Rice Owls football. This rivalry has lost a lot of luster the last few years. The speakers at the Bayou Bucket luncheon really made a point to renew this rivalry, resume it after a few years, and maintain the tradition. But folks, support the local college football teams and the Houston college football teams, not the teams in College Station, not the team up there up to 90 in Austin. support the Houston football teams, the Houston Cougars, the Rice Owls. Support them first. There are hundreds of thousands of UH alums in the greater Houston area. TDECU Stadium has a capacity of 40,000. If there are hundreds of thousands of UH alums, that means 40,000 should not be a problem. Regardless of the opponent, support your alma mater, the Houston Cougars. I'm done. Off my soapbox. Okay, real quick. I hope you got a chance to watch my interview with Mr. Eddie Nuñez, the new AD of the Houston Cougars, the Vice President of Intercollegiate Athletics. Is posted on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Here is a clip, the last few minutes of our talk, and his answer is on point. And I wish him well in getting this done. But check this out. Final comments from our interview, my chat with Eddie Nuñez, UH VP of Intercollegiate Athletics. So for you,
yeah,
is there one thing that you want to accomplish, big or small, let's say within the next month or by the end of the year? Keep it simple.
Yeah, I would tell you it's a corny one, I think, because people will say, that's the answer everybody's going to say. I got to change the culture, and not in a negative way, in the culture that I feel needs to be representative of who we are. So it's changing culture so that it meets what the vision of what I feel we need to do. So if we're having this conversation a year from today, and I can look back and say, we have done a great job moving or changing the culture so that the majority or all the people are moving in this direction, and we've made huge success. Because my time in New Mexico, all the championships, and I said this at the press conference, doesn't matter what championships I won, doesn't matter how many buildings we built, not even just, it was, when I looked back, the culture that was established in the department, the way everybody supported each other, the trust the fan base had on us, and that was all because we established a culture that everybody could be proud of. So I know that is the root to us having tremendous success, is having a culture that people are proud in-house, so that everybody externally looks at us and says, look, this is one unit, not just a parcel of silos.
Thank you, sir. And I'm extending an open invitation to you. Andrew knows that as well. So when you have time, and obviously on the calendar, we can do this 12 months or not for sure. But, monthly, quarterly, whatever suits you. I love to chat with you and give everyone updates on the program, because folks who know me, they know I'm a proud alum of the University of Houston. I tell everybody that.
Yep.
But I will also critique when I think it's necessary. But my love for the school is unwavering.
Yeah, listen, you should. At the end of the day, if there's a gripe and we did something to earn that gripe, well, then you can do it, and it's up to us to be able to have that conversation and try to make it right. So we're probably going to have something at some point, Kris, that you're going to be like, I don't like it. Yeah, it's okay. Let's have the conversation. I know that we're going to have many conversations. Some might be offline when I see you and walk, at an event or in passing. And I want people to have those conversations with me. So, and then absolutely, anytime we want to sit down, we'll do it. We'll make them work. And so this is fun. The more I can tell people about how we're progressing as a department, the better we're going to be.
Thank you, Eddie Nuñez, the VP of Intercollegiate Athletics for the University of Houston. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you go. Hope you all enjoyed that. Just a snippet of the conversation with Eddie Nuñez. And thank you for bringing this up. I have the clip as well. Based on time, I might play that. But yes, Eddie speaks Spanish. He's proud of his Cuban-American heritage. And as I said to him, and I'll say it to everyone here, it's an untapped market. The Spanish-speaking Hispanic community is an untapped market for UH. I think UH has done a poor job of outreach with many of its diverse alums, different ethnic backgrounds. You graduate from UH. You are a UH graduate, UH alum. Many of us make a good living. Many of us have money. Ultimately, the main color I see is green. The main color I want UH to see is green. Don't spend so much time with that old money you've been trying to get to and tap into. Get some of this younger money too. That doesn't look like you, but graduated from UH and is proud to be a UH graduate. So yeah, I interviewed Pez once. Interviewed him 2 years ago. Requested additional interviews with him. And well, as I said, I interviewed Pez once. And it got to a point, I guess, that when I saw him or when he saw me, he basically walked away. So I don't know about that. All right. Y'all know I'm an alum. I just received an email. Y'all let me know if y'all received the email as well. But the email is saying that tickets are on sale now for the Players Era Impact Tournament. So, Coug fans, you can now purchase your tickets to the Players Era Impact Festival. So, Rex got his as well. So there you go. So they're doing that part. They're notifying everyone about it. So that's good. so that's good. But real quick, still waiting on Rhossi to join to discuss the Battleground2k24. But prior to his joining, man, oh man, some big news happened last night. Woke up to it. It's a surprise. No, not really surprised, but it kind of was a surprise. Let me do this. Shrink this just a bit. There we go. Ushering in a new era, the Pac-12 Conference strengthened its legacy by welcoming 4 respected academic and athletic universities. The press release went out early this morning. Official word from the Pac-12. Those logos, recognize them? The first 2, that's Boise State. That second one is Colorado State. And the third one is Fresno State. Those 3, plus San Diego State, are leaving the Mountain West and joining the Pac-2. It's now Pac-6. And at some point will be the Pac-8 under the Pac-12 brand. The Pac-12 Conference Board of Directors voted unanimously to admit Boise State University, Colorado State University, California State, Fresno State, and San Diego State University, 4 respected institutions celebrated for their achievements in both academics and athletics to the Pac-12 Conference effective July 1, 2026. Competition will begin for all conference sports in the 2026-27 academic year. Before I go to some other info, I love how the conferences put in that word academics. This wasn't done for academics. It's nice for y'all to put that in there, but we all know better. This is not academic related. Come on. It's a plus that those are strong academic institutions, but come on now, really. Although, Rex, maybe this is why UNLV was passed over, because they are perceived to be not as strong academically. But UNLV is much better academically now than it was years ago. But some more info, because this is all about dollars too. Mountain West bylaws require departing schools to pay an exit fee of roughly $18 million with 2 years' notice, which is what the 4 schools expect to pay, according to a source. And this is from Pete Thamel and ESPN. That number would jump to $36 million with 1 year's notice. Not an issue. the Pac-12 is expected to be in position to help the schools with the exit fees in part due to withheld media rights distribution fees to the party members and other conference assets. Long-winded way of saying the schools that left their media rights fees, and that goes to Oregon State and Washington State. The conference would also be subjected to $43 million in poaching fees, as outlined in the scheduling agreement between the conferences this year that resulted in Oregon State and Wazoo playing 6 Mountain West opponents. Now check out this info. The current Mountain West media deal is a 6-year contract with CBS Sports and Fox Sports. The deal was made in 2020 and runs through the 2025-26 season. The media deal pays its members around $4 million annually, which is about 4 times greater than what the schools received under the previous media rights deal. Stop right there. Think about that. Teams in the Mountain West right now making $4 million annually from the media deal. Prior to this current deal, they were receiving $1 million in a media rights deal. Remember that? Those days, UH alums, when we were poo-pooing $5 million, $6 million, $8 million from the AAC. There were teams in the Mountain West receiving $1 million per year. $1 million. And I think, and Conference USA was less than that. It's like $300,000. I mean, something. All right. Still, Rex brings up the question. It hasn't changed, really. Next question is, when will the AAC media rights deal end? I mean, it's still, what is it? It was a 12-year deal when it was announced a few years ago, when the conference announced a deal with ESPN and ESPN Plus. So we're looking at 32, I think, something like that. Although it might change, the deal might have to be renegotiated when other current members of the conference leave to go to the Pac-12 or the Mountain West. I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with the Mountain West remaining members. Will they try to go their own ways, their separate ways, and latch on somewhere else? Or will they come to the American or whatever? But it's wheels on a bus go round and round. It just doesn't stop. The movement doesn't stop. But the terms of the contract granted CBS Sports and Fox Sports the rights to broadcast 47 Mountain West football games each season. CBS Sports televises 27 games and gets further rights to broadcast 3 non-conference games, while Fox Sports broadcasts 17 games. Hawaii maintains its own local rights agreement, and in return, Hawaii will hand over conference games as part of that TV deal. Just how will this impact Rice? Will it impact Rice? Could we see UTSA going to the Pac-12? What could UTSA? I'm kind of curious if anybody would go from the American to the Mountain West now, because the money, I think the teams in the American receive more than $4 million annually in media rights, I believe. I don't think it, even with Houston, UCF, and Cincinnati leaving, I don't believe the money halved with those departures. So it should still be more in the American than what it is in the Mountain West. And reportedly, the Pac-12 believes that they can negotiate their next media deal will generate more money than what because it's a Pac-12 brand, will generate more than what the Mountain West could bring. Okay, I'm curious about that. So we'll see on that one. But all right. I don't know if Rossi's having difficulty, but I can still talk with everybody and keep it rolling here on this edition of the Roundball Review Takeover. Reminder, before I get into the H-Town wrap-up, it's 12:40. There you go. Reminder right there. 2:05. Isiah Harwell will announce his college choice. He will announce his commitment to one of those 4 schools, either Gonzaga, Houston, Texas, or Cal. Tune in to the On3 YouTube channel to find out what he does. As I said, and I have not received any text messages stating different as we're doing this show. But last word I got is Isiah will announce his choice as the Houston Cougars. So we will see if he makes that official. Not yet. It's a good question, Rex. Will the Pac-12 get P5 status? From a Power 4 member school perspective, why would you want to grant them a P5 status? Because they have currently 2 Power 4 programs. They're adding 4 G5 programs. They're probably going to add 2 more G5 programs. So the majority of the schools in that new conference, it'll be a G5 conference. Unlike what the Big 12 did, the Big 12 added schools from the AAC, but the majority of the schools are already in it were Power programs. And joining me, looking kind of dapper. I think he can hear me. Can you hear me all right? All right, here we go. My man I've known for 1,000 years, Mr. Rhossi Carron. How you doing, man?
What's going on, Kris? You doing all right?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, man. My pleasure. My pleasure. Let's get into it. Tell everybody a little bit about you and the organization and, of course, Battleground 2K.
As for myself, my name is Rhossi Carron. I consider myself a sports marketing consultant. I've been in the sports marketing space about 20 years, but I started my career in grassroots basketball. I was doing player development, coaching, training, kind of helping kids pursue their goal of playing at the next level. And then transitioned out of that about 6 years ago and got specifically into sports marketing, everything from marketing, media, advertising, solutions for events, athletes, and brands. So as we talk specifically today about the Battleground2k24, this is an event that my company, United Sports and Entertainment, is developing and operating, and we're super excited about this event. High-level event, high-level teams, and looking forward to it. November 9th at Toyota Center, the Battleground2k24, November 9th at Toyota Center, and that event features an opening game of Rice versus Florida State at 6 p.m. and then headline game U.H. versus Auburn at 8:30 p.m. tip-off. It's going to be a great event, and hope to see all of the fans here locally and outside the state attend.
Well, you answered one of my questions I was going to have for you if the times had been determined yet. So, all right, Rice, FSU, 6 o'clock. Houston, cool. Auburn at 8:30. Excellent.
Yep, evening matchup. So, like I said, we're really excited about it. 4 teams that we're really excited about watching compete. And I think from a competition standpoint, like I'm in the sports marketing space, the television stuff is good. Operating the event is good. But at heart, I'm a basketball guy. Mm-hmm. So being able to watch 2 of our local teams from here in Houston compete against high-level teams from outside of the region is something that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Have the networks been finalized for the games yet? So
opening game, Rice, Florida State will be ESPN Plus, and the second game, Houston, Auburn will be ESPNU.
Okay. Excellent. All right, man. Well, I think I've asked you this before, but regarding these 4 teams, how do you determine which teams will participate in Battleground?
Ultimately, from any standpoint, like even when I did high school events, you want to have quality teams from your region to start. I think that's the foundation. I mean, if you can get 2 really good quality teams from your region, I think that helps obviously with attendance. It helps with getting the fan bases of the local teams excited. But then you want to bring in big time teams for them to compete against. And I think, for Rice to have the opportunity to compete, against Coach Lennon Hamilton and his squad from the ACC and Auburn, which will be a top 10 team in the country to start. I believe that Houston Auburn game was probably one of the best 5 non-conference games in college basketball this upcoming season. Houston will probably be preseason top 3 or 4, and Auburn, I've seen them anywhere from 9 to 11. So, again, you want to start with local or regional high quality teams and then try to find high level teams to bring in to compete against those teams. And I think we've done a great job of capturing that with the Battleground2k24.
And this season's matchup, or the November matchup, will be the first of 2 matchups between the Cougs and Auburn, because they'll be doing it again next year, right?
They will be doing it again next year. So this is the first leg of a series. So it's a neutral series. So obviously Auburn will be coming to Houston to play at the Toyota Center. And then in 2025, Houston will return to neutral, and which will be the Battleground 2K25 in Birmingham at Legacy Arena, which that game is going to be nuts. I'm sure that game will be sold out. 16 to 17,000 fans. So it's the first leg of a neutral series between the 2.
How are ticket sales going so far for the Battleground 2K24?
Ticket sales it's been amazing so far out of the gate. So we've only opened the lower bowl so far. And we've sold half of the lower bowl. So all of the sideline seats, whether it's courtside all the way up to the top, from baseline to baseline on both sides, are sold. So the only seats that we have available at this time now, as we kind of make a final push, is corners and behind the basket. So the fan bases have been really good. They're energized. And I expect Auburn to have 3,000 or so fans. They have one of the best fan bases as far as travel in the country. I expect them to have about 3,000 or so fans there. And obviously, Rice and the Cougars going to do their part. So as of now, we've only opened the lower bowl. And once we sell out the lower bowl, then we'll look to open up some seats in the mezzanine. And
tickets can be purchased where?
Tickets are available now at toyotacenter.com. And again, all of the sideline seats, they may have 1 or 2 here or there. All of the sideline seats and most of the premium seats, courtside seats, are completely sold out. But definitely, if you're a basketball fan in this area and you're looking to watch high quality basketball, it's a great event to attend. Go to toyotacenter.com to grab your tickets.
In previous Battleground 2K events, you've had a community aspect of it. It'll be the same for this year as well?
100%. Is any of our United Sports and Entertainment events, there's always competition and community. So each of the 4 teams, and we'll announce those sometime next week. So each of the 4 teams will participate in a community service activity on the Friday, the day before the event. And we typically do, we've done Ronald McDonald House, we've done United Way, we've done kids that have been, orphaned, abused, abandoned, neglected. So we typically try to make sure that these athletes understand their responsibility to give back and to understand their impact goes far beyond the court. And we just think it's a great opportunity just, for the student athletes and the universities, that they can come into a great city like Houston, play in a high level game, but also leave something besides entertainment on the court that impacts kids in the local community. So Friday, November 8th, all 4 teams will be in Houston participating with various youth community organizations. And then the next day we'll get after it on the court on national television.
Now you're from here.
I'm originally from Port Arthur, Texas.
Right. Well, that's here for me.
You call it okay. You call it
here.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay,
we claim y'all too. Yeah.
Well, we sure appreciate it.
But and basketball has been your life. So just how much has Houston men's basketball evolved since Kelvin Sampson has taken over?
It's incredible. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and we were talking about the top 3 program turnarounds in maybe in the last 20 years. Obviously, Coach Scott Drew at Baylor did a fantastic job of turning that program around. Brad Stevens had a good run for a short time before he went to the NBA. But what Coach Sampson has done here is incredible, because I was there, one of 100 people sitting watching the game,
right?
Yep. in a dusty arena. And I had a whole section by myself, and we kind of laugh about that all the time. Like, you can sit, put your feet up on the seat in front of you, and stretch out. There's nobody around you. So what he's done there, not just from a basketball standpoint of elevating the play of basketball, but just when you talk about facilities and involvement of the community and impact across the board, I think Houston is stamped and sealed as one of the top 3 or 4 college basketball programs in the country. I think it's going to be hard for anybody to dispute that. I looked at some of the metrics, obviously with the Ken Palm stuff, but I think Houston the last 5 years, I think they've been to Sweet 16 or better in each of the last 5 years. 3 30-win seasons in a row, that's incredible. And what they did in the Big 12 last year, I think they lost 3 games maybe in the Big 12. Finished first in the Big 12 in their first year there. It's incredible. They treated the Big 12 like they were treating the American Conference before. So what he's done from a culture standpoint, from a community standpoint, what Coach Sampson has done, it's unbelievable. And it takes more than just knowing basketball and being a good coach. It takes someone who has great leadership skills, someone who has vision, because to come into to what existed before and to see what could be and then to actually make it happen is unbelievable. So a lot of respect for the Houston men's basketball program and Coach Sampson and his staff.
Question from a viewer: will you sell merch for the doubleheader?
100%. So typically we'll have some Basketball University product on sale, obviously, and then we typically have a commemorative hoodie, which will feature all 4 of the patches from the participating team. So the Battleground2k24 commemorative hoodie. So yes, we'll sell merch at the event, and you'll be able to scan the QR code on the Jumbotron or be able to go out on the concourse and purchase it.
Yeah, I got to say, man, you're one of the first people to hit me to the QR code and this impact. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, just thank you for welcoming Port Arthur to be a part of the Houston community. So that's our gift in return.
You touched on part of this question, but what was the process for you in selecting Auburn and Florida State to be part of this event?
So interestingly enough, Coach Lanier, when he was at SMU last year, he went to Florida State and won a game there, which is a tough thing to do. So there was already some competitive juices there, and a high level of respect for Coach Lanier and also the Florida State program. So we wanted to bring in a high level program to get the Rice fan base excited. The best part of this is that it's early in the season.
Yeah.
So typically when you see games of this magnitude, you've already seen U of H or Rice play, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Each team has one. I think this might be the second or third game on the schedule for each of those teams. So, and it'll be the first time that the fan bases obviously get to see Coach Lanier in a matchup of this caliber right here in our backyard at a great facility. And then for the Houston Cougars, again, to have a top 10 matchup the second game of the season is really unheard of, with the exception of a handful of events across the country. So I think that I'm really excited about it. And again, obviously I look at it from an event operations and development standpoint, but like at my core, I'm a basketball guy. So I want to sit courtside and see the physicality of the game and to see the execution of the game. And if you've ever watched Auburn play, like I'm a big believer that teams take on the identity of their coaches. Yep. And similarly to Coach Sampson, like Coach Sampson gets after it coaching. And so does his team. And Bruce Pearl's the same way. I mean, he's animated. He's running up and down the sideline. He's screaming and yelling, and he's coaching those guys really hard. And those guys play super hard. So it's gonna be a high level game, you know. And you know, I think it'll be one of the best games that has been played in Houston, you know, in the last 5 years, especially from a national standpoint.
Rhossi, man, it's always great to talk to you. I'm going to wrap it up with you, but we got a few more weeks before November 9th, so I'm extending an invitation to you again to come back on the show. We can talk about, give an update on how things are going, and just remind folks about the game on the doubleheader on November 9th. Is that cool with you?
I would love to come back. And before I leave, I just want to remind everybody, you know, Battleground 2k24 November 9th at Toyota Center, Rice and Florida State in the opening game, 6 p.m. Houston, Auburn, top 10 matchup, one of the best games of the non-conference schedule. Both teams have, you know, high-level coaches, guys that have won Coach of the Year, and both teams have an All-American, LJ Crier, and I think Jawan Roberts. I just saw recently that he's on one of the preseason All-American lists, and then Janai Broom from Auburn, who's, you know, like a 17-point, you know, 8 rebound guy,
yep.
which is unheard of at the Power 5 level. So I think when you have, you know, Coach of the Year caliber coaching, and you have an All-American and a fan base that's going to get behind you, I think that it creates excitement and energy going into that game. You can get your tickets at toyotacenter.com. Remember, all of the sideline seats and courtside seats are gone, but we still have some good seating from the corners and behind the basket. So we're looking forward to it being a packed house on November 9th at Toyota Center.
Yeah, fans, let's open up make the upper bowl open, and let's sell out that place. So, brother, it's always great to talk to you, and we will keep in touch. All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, and thank you guys for listening.
Rhossi Carron, you take care, man.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye. Real quick, so I can squeeze this in, I want to acknowledge the passing of a great man, important to the Rockets and the Houston Comets. Carroll Dawson passed away on Monday. Excuse me. But here's a quote, if you had not seen already, on Twitter or on Instagram or Facebook. This is from Cheryl Swoops. My heart truly hurts right now. CD was the reason why the Comets were who we were. He believed in us from day one and was a huge fan. He was always kind and had the biggest heart. Thank you, CD, for helping to bring 4 WNBA championships to the city. You will never be forgotten. Love, Swoops 22. And head coach, Hall of Fame, both Hall of Famers, but Van Chancellor, quote, I don't know of anyone who was more instrumental than Carroll Dawson was in building the Comets and the 4 championships. Before I got the job, he had already gotten Cheryl, Tina, Cynthia, and Jeanette Arcane. He was the general manager of the Rockets, but he always had time for the Comets. CD gave me the best 10 years of my life. He was a wonderful, caring, warm human being. If you didn't like CD, you didn't like anybody. End quote. Rest in peace, Carroll Dawson. I'm going to wrap it up right there. Thank you, everybody, for this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. I am, once again, Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Click on that shop button, buy you a Houston Roundball Review mug. Subscribe to the channel. Spread the word about the Houston Roundball Review. Go watch the complete interview, conversation I did with Eddie Nuñez, the new VP of Athletics for Houston. And as always, a reminder, Isiah Harwell announced his commitment at 2:05 today, Central Time, on the On3 YouTube website. But I am, of course, Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. And since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.